So this could be some confidence boosting for Complexity, some chance to get their groove on, see if it goes anywhere. Those trading, these one-for-one trades are fantastic for Greyhound, but this is not what Complexity want, because
telling you on the ball exactly what to do, no one's listening, and we're just getting
1v2. First fight goes his way, and he spotted the last man as well. Now wrapping back into CT, and Sicko gets the bomb.
He's default. Jumping up. Yeah.
So Rory took over the IGL role when we changed up our roster a little bit out of nowhere. I think it's been a pretty natural transition for him. He's definitely got the personality for being a leader. And then the dynamic between him and Jamie working together has been really beneficial to the team. And I think that's just going to show this major.
Let's start Inferno. My handwriting's terrible, but I think I understand it. So first is to talk about B, on their CT side. James likes to take the angle to bench quite a lot. That's the peak that I saw that was the most aggressive one that he likes to do.
They were buying MP9s around James saved Orc and shit, yeah. So we have to be wary of that.
Pretty much fine too, and I think
I'm really happy with the Avangard matchup. Not to underestimate them at all or anything. They're definitely a solid team, but I think it's a team that we're capable of beating. I think that we have a pretty good idea of the maps, and as a map pool is kind of aligned, and just confident overall going into that match.
Get in their f***ing faces, play aggressive, play together, and stay positive.
Yeah.
Nothing gets us down. No bad start, no pistol, no eco, nothing.
I feel like Avangard especially is a weird unknown team right now because they participate in so few tournaments. You don't get to see them very often. I never really know what to expect. There's a section of that works for them because they're a hard team to strat against.
Yeah, we knew it was going to come down to Inferno or Dis 2. We know they like playing both maps, and it's some of our maps that we played too, so we were comfortable playing Inferno.
The scoreline was pretty close, but when you rewatch it, it's obvious that we were really hesitant and sloppy.
Haven't seen this one in about 8 rounds. Sam's in trouble, doesn't hit the shot. Sanji will close it out, and this should be the end of that.
I think we all just knew immediately we weren't playing the same way. Communication was low, idea generation was low. We kind of played like at times, and you can't win a CS match like that.
1 versus 1 now, Obo. He's young, he's at the major, and he's not gonna connect the shot just yet. The plant's bad for him. James going aggressive, he knows he's got to hit the shot. Close quarters, he does so, and he does have time. Oh my That's God. Brutal.
I think there were some situationals that we could have won that would have had the match go in our favor, but unfortunately that wasn't the case.
Avangard, I think we watched the game back, and we should never lost that game.
Vanguard 2 kills away from an opening win. Here in the Swiss format, that's huge. Flash and conversion from Kicker all on to Def. He's got to find 3, they triple peak, and that's a Vanguard with the W in the bag.
Check out, boys. Good game.
After the Avangard loss, I feel that we could have won that match, so I wasn't too worried. I know that we normally start off slow in our first game, whether it be an official or whether it be practice, so I felt like we could have done better the next game.
I don't think anyone was discouraged. I think everyone knew that we had that match in our grasp, pretty much, and we let that go. It's not a good feeling because you really want to just play that map again, just to close it out the next time around. But yeah, we're just focusing on the next match.
So we get rid of Train,
Overpass, Mirage, right? And then we leave it to Dusk to Inferno?
Exactly.
Is that what we want to do?
Yeah.
Yeah, 100%.
So the way the vetoes went, basically we knew that it was going to be Inferno again, so we did prepare for that map specifically, but unfortunately things just didn't turn out the way that we wanted.
I think this is going to be extremely unpredictable. We can't even really talk about their map pool just yet because we've barely seen it.
That is one of the things they think they have going for them. However, Hellraisers aren't quite the sort of team that are really going to care all too much about that.
Yeah, I don't really know how to describe the state of the team during that match.
We just weren't switched on Hellraiser's game. We just didn't play good CS.
We're not communicating, we're not being proactive, we're not talking. We just weren't ourselves in that match, and it obviously showed in the scoreline, and the things we were doing, and the way we played.
Looking quite lethal, but he's unable to take down Angel. There's players all over the place. This is so hard to keep track of here for the CTs. They are so fast moving, these Hellraisers players.
I don't think we really had a pause or anything in the game that we said, look, nobody's talking, everybody's taking solo duels, this and that. We realized that after the game.
Monster Series, a 4 versus 1. Should never, ever, ever lose this, and they simply won't. Oscar picks it up, and it's a 16-5 point from Hellraisers. Beautiful performance from them.
Just a bad game. We didn't play well at all. Nothing much to say.
We just played like fundamentally bad.
It had nothing to, you know.
We didn't like understand what they were
It
doing.
had nothing to do with necessarily calls. Like even the rounds we read them right, we just got destroyed. Tomorrow starts our BO3 grind, boys. You guys need to go home and get some sleep.
Things that had been working in scrims that we've been doing over and over again seem to fail. Just having a game that you feel like you should have won on the same day is always, you really have to push that reset button and move forward, but I didn't feel like we could.
It's super frustrating. We put in so much work in the boot camp and we did so well, and to change it up right before the matches, it's kind of sad.
Yeah, but the mid push, it puts us on these really weird buys, and where we don't have nades to take B, and like they were taking B with nades pretty well at the start, and then they started smoking wall and wall and wall.
The problem with Sweden right now is that Rick gets himself on a balcony, Owen's here, so Hunter's by himself fully. But then you started sending Shaz Banana, so then you would be Arj and you would call like, let's flash mid, and like Rick would kill the guy, and it was like more together. But then now I'm just watching like Hunter's just like, oh what the f, they're up mid. And then there's no trades, we're not fighting together, and we're wondering why we suck.
We got a long week to grind out.
Yeah.
Shake it off, it's f***ing over, get over it. It's not the end of the world.
And our do or die moment for the next match is Tyloo.
I mean, you say do or die, but honestly, the way I see it is like, we had to get 3 wins yesterday. Next day, we still have to get 3 wins, so not much has changed.
As a team, I think we were just looking forward to playing a best of 3 regardless, and I don't think the pressure was there for anybody, to be honest.
I feel like this is definitely the most even matchup that both of these teams have had, the Tyloo and Complexity sides. And this is one where I feel like it is pretty 50-50 right down the middle as to who takes this home.
I'm gonna go watch it here and try to lose my mind.
Let's get into this game though, Hugo. Tyloo over on the T side. Obviously, this is their map pick, Complexity. They chose to start CT.
We had a really big lead on Overpass. I think we started off talking, being proactive, doing the things that we do in practice, and it worked really well for us.
Now with 25 seconds, they're still grouped up outside of A, and they've got to go in 5v5. Shazam, they wish they dealt with this man earlier. He's still a problem. They finally shut him down. Buntet left up in the 1v4.
15 HP though. Sick. Hit by that nade double. In fact, he lines them up and almost gets both. It's Tyloo on double digits. They will just not let go, Harry. They will not give up.
We blew our big lead because we started trying to overcompensate. We do too much sometimes.
It's a little bit of a swinging map when you're in T-side. You can get your T-side rolling, or it can be very difficult to make a comeback on T-side, or to close out the map on T-side, more to say.
Poor Ricky left alone. Summer peeking out, and while he does bait the peek, he'll get found. It's overtime.
Glad we could close it out. See, I think it was Owen and Shaz, so.
Shazam and Obo, 2v5. This was looking like the dream scenario from Complexity, and this is now some sort of hellish nightmare.
Yeah, the 2v5 on Overpass was really all Owen, to be completely honest. It wouldn't even be possible if he didn't get those first 2 entries.
5v2 as they try and get into this bomb site. Obo's found the double. Maybe there's a chance.
He just dropped a smoke, tried to plan, and I was like, oh man, I gotta cover him. I know one guy was spamming him through the smoke. I got a no-scope on him, and then Owen was just able to clutch out the last 2 kills. So, honestly, I was just there for support.
Somebody's missed the knife. What is going on? This is chaos. Attackers left up in the 1v2, and he'll take the first man down. It's only Obo left to find, but he's got it. Complexity have taken the win.
Because they vetoed Nuke, we've got to pick Virgo, which is our best map, and they picked Overpass. So we weren't prepared on Virgo specifically, but Being it was our best map, like the best map we played all boot camp, it literally didn't matter. It showed we like 16-2'd them.
And now the A bomb site once again is overrun with Complexity players. That bomb is going down.
Yeah, so we hit A probably 90% of the time. We ended up going B 2 rounds. It's just a little bit more difficult for the CTs to converge on A as they can towards B.
What could be Tyloo's last round here at the Major, and it's somebody 1v3. He's not going to find it. Complexity, they'll take the victory here.
So up next we're versing Greyhound, which is the current #1 Australian team.
We had a day where we played quite a few scrims against them during the boot camp. I can't underestimate any team, but they're definitely a team I feel like we should beat convincingly.
Jump into the firing line. Dexter with 2 kills. He cleans up the long player. It's just a young guy on the site. They line up for him, but he can't finish the kills. And it's Greyhound with a retake again on the A side. They seem so good, round after round, locking them in.
It's hard to say if changing the roster around has had enough time to succeed. That's like an internal thing that you almost have to decide beforehand. It looked to me like there were some internal problems, like there was some hesitation in some of the execution of the strategies, and there was like a lack of communication, I would say.
I think that we had a good mindset going into the Greyhound match. We were all pretty confident. We played against them during the boot camp for quite a few scrims, and we didn't think too highly of them, but obviously you can't underestimate any team. And then we got on the server and we played like shit.
Greyhounds still have a trick up their sleeve. It's Dexter in the back line, and it's a map locked in here for the Greyhounds. They are going to take it on Dust 2.
Relax. I'm telling you on the board exactly what to do. No one's listening. We're just getting we know exactly what they're doing.
Overall, we didn't play that well as a team. We had some chemistry problems. I don't think I personally played as well as I could have or should have.
Now Coffin's cleared as well. He's slowly but surely nullifying these angles. Another smoke available on him if they want it, but Nick Stacey and Urcast have shut this round down already.
Oh, absolute scenes right now. Greyhound are looking on another level.
The comms were poor, decision making was poor. It was just all round pretty bad. I was trying to tell them, you know, we need to speak more, we need to do this, but it's hard, like, when the energy's so low and like we're really struggling.
Bomb now planted. This is already a better round than Greyhound ever hoped it would have been. They challenge Def and they win it. It's Sicko. 1v2. First fight goes his way, and he spotted the last man as well. Now wrapping back into CT, and Sicko gets it done. 16-4.
I felt like this was our first real tournament as a team, considering ECS we got Owen maybe just days before with like no prac, no foundation. And we blew it at the biggest tournament of the year. That's it.
I think we had reasonable expectations. The roster was fairly new, although the core had been solid for a while. I took a lot of criticism, people saying your expectations were too high. I think they were reasonable, but the play that I saw was so far below what I think are reasonable expectations. It was disappointing.
And I'll just be straight with you guys because you deserve it. Like, I got to get really aggressive looking at options.
After the game, we went outside and talked, and I just told them, look, each of you I do love individually, but this is completely not acceptable, and I'm going to be posting some things on Twitter, I'm going to be dropping some bombs, and I just wanted to tell you face to face that this is not about you personally, but this won't stand.
I'm going to tweet some shit letting people know that I'm willing to talk to people, and it's probably going to make me look like an but I wanted to tell you guys first. Because I genuinely do care about each and every one of you as individuals, and this shit ain't working. It's not meant to be a dick to you guys or whatever, but I have a job, and these results, you know, threaten my family's livelihood. I really appreciate how hard you guys all work, because I know you've been busting your ass. And all I can say is thank you for that.
If I could go back and take a deep breath, in hindsight being 2020, I would have released it with different timing. I would have worded it slightly different. I didn't want to hurt our own players and make them feel worse than they already did, that I'd had it. That tweet was 100% me. It wasn't whitewashed for PR. I didn't consult anyone else. As soon as I had the opportunity to tell the players what was coming so I didn't blindside them, I fired that tweet off. I felt a very strong need to plant a flag in the ground, draw a line in the sand, and say enough is enough.
I'm a hugger, Shaz, you know that. You too.
So after the major, we had the long flight home from Berlin. Rick had to talk with us. I told the guys the door's open. If you want to talk to me, I'll make time for you. Come in, and Rick did.
To cut a long story short, me myself, I'm looking for different opportunities. I think at the end of the day, I feel like I've lost my identity as a player a little bit, and I want to pick up the main AWP role in a different team. And we'll see what happens for me in the future. But as it currently stands, I think I want my main AWP role back, and it's something that I've wanted to do for quite a long time now.
I'm tired of this narrative the last few years, like Complexity's Counter-Strike team is just the stepping stone towards something better. I'm tired of this narrative that if you get beat by Complexity, that's a wake-up call that your team is going the wrong direction. And I felt, I wanted to shout it from the rooftop. I wanted to rock the boat, rattle the cage, whatever you want to say. The tweet did result in a tremendous amount of interest from around the world, which is good. It's been challenging with our own guys. They're understandably not thrilled with me. But it is what it is. I have a job to do and they have a job to do. From the top down in this organization, we care. We want to win. It's not a PR thing. It's not a smokescreen. We genuinely want to win. And that's what we're going to set out to do.